What if I told you that thousands of pensioners across the UK could miss out on valuable support simply because they don't realize one important date has arrived? Every July, many people assume nothing has changed. But this year, there are important reminders that could affect your free TV license eligibility. Before you ignore this update, stay with me, because one small detail could make a much bigger difference than you expect. Welcome back to the channel. If you want clear, reliable updates about the UK state pension, pension credit, DWP changes, and the support available to older people across Britain, you're in the right place. My goal is to explain every important update in simple English so you always know where you stand. When people hear the words free TV license, they often think the rules are simple. They believe that once they reach a certain age, everything happens automatically. But that's one of the biggest misunderstandings, and it's exactly why today's update matters. Across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, thousands of older households depend on every pound of their income. Rising household bills, food prices, council tax, and energy costs have made budgeting more important than ever. For many pensioners, avoiding an unexpected expense isn't just convenient, it can make a real difference to monthly finances. Now here's where many people become confused. Some believe that turning 75 automatically qualifies them for a free TV license. Others think that if a friend or neighbor receives one, they must also qualify. But the rules don't work that way. Eligibility depends on more than age alone, and understanding the current requirements is one of the most important things you can do. Before we explain exactly how it works, there's another question worth asking. Why is July attracting so much attention? The answer isn't because everyone suddenly has to apply in July. Instead, this time of year is when many households review their benefits, renew important information, or receive reminders connected with their circumstances. If you've recently become eligible for pension credit, if your financial situation has changed, or if you've never checked your entitlement before, this can be the perfect opportunity to make sure everything is up to date. And that's exactly where many people discover something they didn't expect. Some pensioners assume they don't qualify for pension credit because they own their home. Others believe they've saved too much money to receive any help. Some simply think their income is just above the limit without ever checking. Yet every year, many eligible households discover they could receive pension credit after all. Why does that matter so much? Because pension credit doesn't only provide extra financial support for some eligible pensioners. It can also open the door to additional forms of assistance, including eligibility for a free TV license for households meeting the relevant conditions. Take a moment to think about that. Sometimes the most valuable support isn't the payment people hear about on television. It's the extra help linked to qualifying benefits that many people overlook completely. But wait, there's another misunderstanding that catches many families by surprise. Imagine two neighbors who are both over 75. They have lived on the same street for years. They seem to have similar lifestyles, similar homes, and similar retirement incomes. One receives a free TV license, while the other continues paying the annual fee. At first, that doesn't seem to make sense. But when you look more closely, the difference may come down to whether the household qualifies for pension credit and whether the license is correctly linked to the eligible person's circumstances. This is why assumptions can become expensive. Many people rely on conversations with friends or information that was correct years ago, but no longer reflects today's guidance. Rules can change, eligibility depends on individual circumstances, and every household should check their own position, rather than assuming someone else's experience applies to them. Now let's slow down for a moment. If you're already receiving pension credit and you're age 75 or over, it's worth checking that your TV license records accurately reflect your current situation. If you've recently started receiving pension credit, you may need to ensure the appropriate arrangements are in place. And if you've never applied for pension credit because you assumed you wouldn't qualify, this July could be a good time to review your circumstances. Here's something else many people don't realize. Thousands of pensioners who could potentially qualify for pension credit never make a claim. Some think the amount would be too small to matter. Others worry the application will be complicated. And some simply don't know they might be eligible. That's why awareness is so important. Even if you're unsure whether you qualify, checking your entitlement can provide clarity. Sometimes the outcome confirms exactly what you expected. Other times it reveals support you didn't know was available. Now, you may be wondering what happens if your financial circumstances have changed during the past year. Perhaps your savings have reduced. Perhaps your income has changed. Perhaps you've stopped working, or your household circumstances are different than they were before. These changes may affect your overall benefit position, which is why keeping your information up to date matters. But don't rush to any conclusions just yet. There's one part of this story that often creates the biggest misunderstanding of all, and it's something many people never discover until much later. In the next part, we'll explain exactly how the current free TV license rules work for pensioners, what steps you may need to take if your circumstances have recently changed, common mistakes people make when checking their eligibility, and practical ways to make sure you don't miss support you may be entitled to. We'll also look at why reviewing your pension credit entitlement could be more important than many people realize, especially as household budgets continue to face pressure. So before you move on, ask yourself one simple question. When was the last time you checked whether your circumstances still match the latest guidance? Sometimes, taking just a few minutes to review your situation can give you peace of mind and help you understand exactly where you stand. Stay with me, because the next part brings all of these pieces together and explains what every pensioner should know before moving forward. If you're still watching, you've already done something that many people never do. You've taken the time to understand the rules instead of relying on rumors or outdated information. And this is exactly where today's update becomes even more important, because knowing that free TV license support exists is only the beginning. Understanding how it applies to your own situation is what really matters. Let's imagine a typical retired couple. They're both over state pension age, they've worked hard all their lives, and like many households across the UK, they're carefully watching every pound they spend. They hear someone mention that pensioners can receive a free TV license, so naturally they assume they're already entitled. Months pass, they continue paying, and they never stop to ask one simple question: do they actually qualify under the current rules? Sometimes the answer is yes, but other times the situation is different than they expected. This is why it's so important to understand that age alone is not the only factor. Under the current rules, households generally need to meet the relevant eligibility requirements, including qualifying through pension credit where applicable, for a free TV license if someone in the household is aged 75 or over. That's why checking your own circumstances is far more valuable than comparing yourself with friends, neighbors, or stories shared online. But here's something that often surprises people. Some pensioners assume they won't qualify for pension credit because they own their home. Others believe they have too much in savings. Some think their weekly income is just a little too high, so they never even look into it. Yet every year, many eligible pensioners discover that they were entitled to support they had never claimed. Now think about what that could mean. A successful pension credit claim may not only increase financial support for eligible households, it can also help unlock other forms of assistance that many people overlook. That's one reason financial advisors and charities regularly encourage pensioners to check their entitlement rather than making assumptions. But wait, there's another detail that's just as important. Life changes, and those changes can affect your benefits. Perhaps you've recently retired. Maybe your partner's circumstances have changed. Perhaps your income has fallen because of higher living costs or changes to your finances. These are exactly the kinds of situations where reviewing your eligibility can make sense. Many people only think about benefits when they first retire. After that, they rarely look again. But retirement isn't static. Household finances change over time, and sometimes a review reveals opportunities that simply didn't exist a year or two ago. Another common misunderstanding involves paperwork. Some people assume that once they qualify for a benefit, every other type of support updates automatically. In reality, it's always wise to ensure your records are accurate, and that any required information has been provided to the relevant organizations. Keeping your details current can help avoid delays or confusion. And here's something worth remembering. Scammers often take advantage of major benefit updates by sending fake emails, text messages, or phone calls claiming that pensioners must pay a fee or provide bank details immediately. Be extremely cautious if you receive unexpected messages asking for personal information. Genuine organizations have established processes, and you should always verify information through official channels before responding. Now, you may be asking yourself, what should I actually do after watching this video? The first step is simple. If you're aged 75 or over, take a few minutes to review the current free TV license eligibility rules. If you already receive pension credit, make sure your circumstances and records are up to date. If you've never checked whether you qualify for pension credit, consider reviewing your eligibility using official guidance. Even if the outcome doesn't change today, you'll have the confidence of knowing exactly where you stand. The second step is equally important. Don't assume that information from several years ago is still accurate today. Benefit rules and guidance can change, which is why staying informed is one of the best ways to avoid unnecessary surprises. The third step is to share reliable information with family members or friends who may also benefit. Many older people miss out on support simply because nobody ever encouraged them to check. A simple conversation could help someone discover assistance they didn't realize was available. As household costs continue to rise, every source of legitimate support matters. While a free TV license may not solve every financial challenge, understanding your eligibility and making informed decisions can help reduce unnecessary expenses and provide greater peace of mind. Most importantly, remember that asking questions is never a sign that you've done something wrong. The benefit system can seem complicated, and many pensioners feel uncertain about the latest updates. Taking the time to learn, review your circumstances, and verify information is one of the smartest things you can do. If you've stayed with me until the very end, you now understand something that many people still overlook. This isn't about rumors or guessing what might happen. It's about knowing the current rules, checking your own situation, and making sure you don't miss support you may be entitled to. Thank you for watching and being part of this community. If this video helped you, please subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss important UK pension, DWP, pension credit, and cost of living updates. Until next time, stay informed, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.